I just wanted to put the camera at this angle here, like Batman angle. Ow, ow, reaching down hurts. Reaching down hurts. Fonzie's here though. Hey, how you doing? And he's giving his thumbs down on these records. I bought, like, I'm a big Jimi Hendrix fan, you know, and it was the first thing I really had an obsession with, you know, was Hendrix, you know. It was like the first time I heard it, I was like, wow. And then, like, I was like, that guy's cool. And that was about 1982, so I was about 12 or 13, and I enjoyed it so much. But then I was like, I started to buy anything that I could, you know, with my money that I saved up. We'll go to the mall. Kraft Wadman was the name of the store, and I'd buy as much Jimi Hendrix as I could. And it's Hendrix, Free Spirit. There is no Jimi Hendrix on this album whatsoever. No involvement. None. Didn't play bass on it. Didn't play guitar. Didn't sing. Didn't do anything. Recorded much after he died too, so. But there was a lot of Jimi Hendrix records that are not even him. So it's interesting because if I wanted to use this video and put on one of these songs as, you know, a musical bed or whatnot, will I get copyright flag from the Hendrix estate? That'd be interesting. If he has no involvement and had no involvement in these records, how can that be? So it'd be interesting. We'll find out as I post this video. Stay tuned, or don't. I guess I can start off with some of these cassettes here, and here's some of the 8 tracks. This is another one. We were talking about things that weren't really Jimi. Very little of that had Jimi participation, if any. And there was a lot of records like that. This was an 8-track tape, but I had I have bought through the years. You know, this was just an EP or a video. This is Band of Gypsys 2, which I was very excited about buying in the 80s, except it's not quite. It's more of the sort of Mitch and Billy, you know, post Gypsys thing. Of course, Gypsys, some of the bootlegs. There's a still sealed copy of Winterland from Ryko, cut out. 9 to the Universe, I love that one. There's an old copy of Electric Lady. Here's some of those, you know, questionable titles. You know, there's a company in Italy that did a lot of those. You know, some of that is him and some of it's not. Some of it is, you know, part of that bootleg series with Jim Morrison and Johnny Winter, recorded at the Scene Club that he did himself. He recorded it himself. But a lot of this is like not him. This is one that I got in France, and it's just basically the soundtrack to the movie that Jesus Christ put the movie out already. Royal Albert Hall. Some of these are boots, and some of those are interviews, radio specials, the Woodstock stuff. Here's some live stuff. Again, boots. That's the Maui thing. There's some more of the radio show stuff, bootlegs, Stockholm and stuff. These are collected from the last 30 years, actually 40 years of things. Newport Pop Festival. This was my little smash hits thing. There's an old cover, there's a empty reel-to-reel, and a flat, and then of course the 8-track there. Of course, this always bothered me. This was the in about 1985, 86, they put out finally released the Monterey Pop show for the most part. And they picture this guitar on fire, but it's clearly not a vintage Strat. But a lot of the Hendrix stuff I have are, you know, here's some of the the stuff we were talking about, the PPX, Ed Chalpin stuff. This is from a Lifelines. That's the live concert on there. That was a. These are the older versions of, you know, the 3 main albums, you know, but they put them out before the Step family got a hold of the catalog again, and they switched them up and got better sound and whatever. This is again the soundtrack to the Royal Albert Hall show, which I hope it comes out in my lifetime. These are the Hendrix albums, pretty much. There are lots of multiple copies of things, like if I noticed when LPs were starting to go out in the late 90s, I bought some sealed copies of Are You Experienced, and then I have that, and of course the Axis album, and I have one that I bought recently, which was the mono Axis on orange vinyl, which is kind of cool. Of course, the Electric Ladyland 2018 re-release, which I don't know, it doesn't sound different to me, to be honest with you. This is a still sealed Electric Lady I bought years ago. I bought a couple things still sealed and then kept them sealed. There's a sealed smash hits. Got a couple, you know, of those here. This is still sealed. That's a Jimi Plays Monterey. Again with the like not vintage fucking Strat. What the fuck is that? That is like not nothing. That's no part of nothing. Oh, that's still sealed. Super Saver, Cry of Love there. I didn't realize that. I think I have a still sealed couple of them. And then I get into some of these here. These are later. Oh, that's the Cry of Love open copy that I had. This is Isla White. These are imports that I bought early on in the 80s. This is kind of neat. This is both Cry of Love and War Heroes on one thing. There are a number of ones that Midnight Lightning. Now there's a lot of controversy over that because Alan Douglas, you know, replaced musicians, Bob Babbitt and Alan Schwartzberg on drums, and a bunch of other people, including David Spinoza. I forget his name. Hendrix Before London. Let's see what those songs are. If there is one song on this album that has any kind of contributions from Jimi, it would be amazing, but it doesn't even look like that. You know, this is again these labels here. I don't know where they got that stuff, but it's it ain't Jimi. And speaking, this is where it started. This is where it started in '67. Ed Chalpin, who, you know, had a contract that Jimi signed under duress or just under the influence or something. And these are some of the recordings that he had made before, and they put this out, and it confused the record buying public. And it was '67, so it was still in the middle of the whole fucking deal. This one, Kaleidoscope, you know. Again, those are like, are those him? Did he have anything to do with it? And this is the one that really, this is the Scene Club recordings. I love that cover though. That is a good cover there. Woke up this morning and found myself dead, featuring Jim Morrison, Johnny Winter, and Buddy Miles, and Jimi in his own recordings here. And yeah, it's pretty rough, pretty raw, and I loved it because they were bad words. Jim Morrison using bad words. This was one of my favorites, and this is the greatest hits kind of thing that came out in the 80s, late 70s, and this one has the Gloria EP, which I have it in here, so that I was able to keep that. This is a strange, just random collection that came out in '87 with some sort of like couple of unreleased things, but unreleased for not very long, like Killing Floor, which was on Monterey like probably a year later. This, I don't know what year that is, but it was in the 80s that it came out. Just a few different greatest hits kind of things. It was alright, I liked it. I bought it new. This is, of course, really great. The two, much of the live stuff that we've heard before, but just very cool. And here's a both sides of the sky flat. This is the Dorella Dufontaine lightning rod and Jimi Hendrix early, like real Last Poets, Gil Scott kind of rap. Billy Cox. This is one of Billy Cox's solo albums, and I have solo albums here. This is my Fat Mattress autograph copy when I met Noel. Oops, there's a Noel 45 on the ground. Of course, I got some Buddy. I met Buddy too. Got a bunch of Buddy here. Yeah, and some of it's okay. Hey, Funzy. So, and then I have some 45s that I want to show you. I'm just showing you some of this stuff because I'm trying to keep track of it myself. I've collected this stuff for over 40 years. This is Curtis Knight. How do you feel? How would you feel? That was arranged by Jimi. This came out, I think, after Jimi was Jimi. And I think this is stuff that he went back. I don't know, for some reason Jimi went back, even though he knew there was a conflict, he went back to PPX and, as a favor to friends and whatever, recorded again and said, you know, it's on tape. Can't use my name for this. Oh, don't worry about it, we won't, you know. I think that's part of this. So that's kind of like, you know, I don't know, that whole thing was, poor guy. I was just been a big fan of his for forever, and it's like, part of it was a tragic story, you know. These are just some of the latest ones that came out. You know, Record Store Day stuff like that. Here's a couple of Bleeding Heart and Jam 202, which is from another jam. Here's some stuff from the Atlanta Pop stuff. This is a Record Store Day. Hey Joe and Stone Freeze on there. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I just wanted to, I have been a big fan of Jimi Hendrix since I was like about 12 or 13, and I don't know why. It just, I was really drawn to it. I mean, at the time growing up, it was in the early 80s, and it wasn't really much for me to cling on to, you know, that sort of spiritual kind of like guitar playing that just takes you somewhere else, you know, and he was the only one that was doing it for me. And ever since then, I've just been, you know, fascinated. I don't collect too much anymore, but that's what I collected early on. It was an obsession of, you know, I gotta have everything, you know, about him, know everything about him. So, anyway, Jimi Hendrix, he was the best.
If we just turn on our energy so Jimi can pick into that and lead us across that bridge, and everybody all over the world is going to pick up on that. So we're all counting on you, and here's your chance, and Jimi should be here in a few minutes.